Venus opposite Saturn in Synastry is one of the most challenging aspects to have in a relationship, but it's also one that can lead to immense growth, loyalty, and a deeply committed bond if both individuals are willing to work through its inherent tensions. The opposition creates a push-pull dynamic, where the energies of Venus and Saturn are diametrically opposed, forcing a constant negotiation and integration. Let's delve into a deep analysis of Venus opposite Saturn in Synastry. Core dynamics of the opposition. Venus, love, values, pleasure, harmony, affection, self-worth, desire for connection represents what we value, how we give and receive love, our aesthetic preferences, and our capacity for pleasure and harmony in relationships. Saturn, structure, discipline, responsibility, limitations, fear, duty, commitment, long-term vision. Reality represents where we feel limited, responsible, or where we seek stability and structure. It often points to life lessons, karma, and areas where we need to mature. When these two planets are in opposition in Synastry, it means the Venus person's natural expression of love, affection, and values directly clashes with the Saturn person's need for structure, responsibility, or sense of limitation. Key themes and challenges. Emotional distance and coldness, Saturn's influence on Venus. The Saturn person's role. The Saturn person can inadvertently, or consciously, bring a sense of restriction, seriousness, or even criticism to the Venus person's expression of love and joy. They might seem emotionally reserved, cautious, or even cold. The Venus person's experience. The Venus person may feel their affection is not fully received, or that they are being held back, judged, or not allowed to express themselves freely. They might perceive the Saturn person as unappreciative, overly critical, or emotionally distant. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy or not being enough. Fear of vulnerability. Both may struggle with vulnerability. The Venus person might fear rejection from the seemingly stern Saturn, while the Saturn person might fear the emotional demands of Venus, feeling they cannot meet them or that it will compromise their control/stability. Commitment versus freedom/spontaneity. Saturn's need for structure. The Saturn person often seeks a serious, long-term, and committed relationship. They value loyalty, responsibility, and reliability. They may push for defined boundaries and clear expectations. Venus's desire for flow. The Venus person desires harmony, pleasure, and connection, which can sometimes feel stifled by Saturn's rigid approach. They might find Saturn's need for structure to be stifling to their spontaneity or desire for lightheartedness. Heavy love. The love between them can feel very heavy or serious from the outset. There might be a sense of duty or obligation tied to the affection, which can make it less joyful or passionate at times. Karmic or fated connection. This aspect often indicates a strong karmic bond, suggesting lessons to be learned by both individuals. The relationship may feel fated or destined, and despite the challenges, there can be a sense of being stuck together or having an important purpose to fulfill. The lessons often revolve around self-worth, responsibility in relationships, and learning to love authentically despite limitations. Delays and difficulties in establishing connection. The relationship might start slowly, with hesitation or obstacles. There can be delays in defining the relationship or moving forward. External responsibilities or duties of the Saturn person might get in the way of spending time together or building intimacy. Critique and self-worth issues. The Saturn person may, unintentionally, highlight the Venus person's insecurities related to their appearance, values, or way of expressing love. The Venus person might internalize these perceptions, leading to self-doubt or a feeling of not being worthy of love. This can be a profound growth opportunity if the Venus person learns to establish their own self-worth independent of external validation. Loyalty and endurance, the positive potential. Despite the difficulties, this aspect can create an incredibly strong and enduring bond. Saturn provides stability, structure, and loyalty. If the initial hurdles are overcome, the relationship can be built on a foundation of deep trust and commitment. The Saturn person, once committed, is often steadfast and reliable, offering a sense of security that the Venus person may ultimately come to appreciate. The Venus person can teach the Saturn person to loosen up, enjoy life, and embrace more affection and pleasure. The Saturn person can teach the Venus person the value of discipline, responsibility, and long-term planning. How to navigate Venus opposite Saturn in Synastry. Open communication. Both partners must be willing to discuss their feelings openly, especially the Venus person's need for affection and the Saturn person's need for structure and personal space. Acknowledge and validate. The Venus person needs to acknowledge the Saturn person's sense of responsibility and perhaps their difficulty with outward emotional expression. The Saturn person needs to validate the Venus person's need for love and affection, even if it feels challenging for them to provide it in a spontaneous way. Patience and perseverance. This is not a relationship for the faint of heart. It requires patience and a willingness to work through challenges. The initial phase might be particularly difficult, but the rewards can be significant. Define expectations. Clearly defining expectations around commitment, responsibility, and emotional expression can help alleviate misunderstandings. Personal growth. Both individuals will likely undergo significant personal growth as a result of this aspect. The Venus person learns to develop inner self-worth and resilience, while the Saturn person learns to soften, express affection, and balance duty with pleasure. Balance of fun and responsibility. Consciously carve out time for both light-hearted enjoyment, Venus, and shared responsibilities or long-term planning, Saturn. In essence, Venus opposite Saturn in Synastry is a powerful teacher. It forces individuals to confront their deepest fears around love, commitment, and self-worth. While it can be a source of frustration and emotional limitation, it also offers the potential for a relationship that is incredibly binding, loyal, and built on a foundation of profound mutual respect and enduring commitment. It's about learning to blend love with reality, and affection with responsibility.